Host of Shane Watson here for PSB Sports. I'm lucky enough to be joined by former British fighter Ryan Rhodes. How are you, Ryan?
I'm good, thanks. Really good.
That's good to hear. That's very good to hear. Thought we'd give you a call today to get you on the PSB Sports. I think it's the first time we've actually had you on here, and there's a few big events that coming up that might concern you. One of them being Canelo-Golovkin against Canelo. I mean, not many people say they've shared a ring with Canelo, but you shared 12 grueling rounds of him. So how was that, being in ring with Canelo Alvarez? And what is your prediction ahead of September?
Definitely the best fighter, out of 52 fights that I've been in with. Great talent, great speed, great power. Overall, got everything you need to be a pound for pound best fighter. I had to change my game plan very early on in the fight because his technique was a little bit different to what we expected. We expected a different game plan from Canelo, so we had to change ours straight away. And it was one of them fights that he had an answer for everything I tried. I tried to attack him. He had great defense. I tried moving. He had great attack, and he's one of them fighters that he doesn't waste any punches. The one thing when he throws punches, 9 times out of 10 he's landing. And I'm so glad that the fight with Triple G's being made. I'm glad it weren't the same case of like Mayweather and Pacquiao, where it took years and years for the fight to be made. I was so glad that it probably took about a year to 18 months to make the fight. It had to be right for both fighters, and I can't wait for the fight. If I'm honest, and I've said it from day one when the fight got talked about, I've picked Canelo all the way. I think he's got everything you need to beat Triple G. Speed, power, movement, great defense, and I'm picking Canelo to win on points.
Fair enough. It's going to be a cracking middleweight fight. It's probably the best fight in the division right now. And
there's not another fight out there that these top 2 pound for pound, top 5 pound for pound fighters out there. Canelo's huge for light middleweight, so he is a middleweight. He's not a light middleweight coming up to. He's huge at the weight. He'll be as big, if not bigger, than Triple G on the night. I remember weighing in with Canelo. We looked similar, very similar on the scales, and then when he got in the ring and took his gown off, I thought he'd swapped opponents. He was absolutely huge at the weight. So, size is going to be no size difference with both fighters, and you've got to pick Triple G with power, with punch power. But believe me, Canelo hits hard, and he throws his punches in bunches.
You would have to say the middleweight scene is quite grim as well. We've got our own British middleweight world champion, Billy Joe Saunders. Where would you rank him amongst those two? And do you believe he could come out victorious in a fight against either of them?
Time will tell with Billy Joe Saunders. I know he's just moved trainers with he's down in Sheffield now, training with the Ingles. I think we're going to probably need a couple of fights. So, a trainer and fighter can gel. Fighter knows what the trainer wants, and the trainer knows how the fighter works. So I think, we'll see. We know how good Billy Joe Saunders is. We know Billy Joe Saunders is a good fighter. All we want to be Chris Eubanks Jr. But I think we need to see the Ingles and Billy Joe Saunders work together on a few fights before we make any predictions about putting him in with Canelo and or Triple G just yet. But time will tell.
And also a little bit more on yourself. I mean, we know about your great career wins against Jamie Moore and your British title fights, and against Otis Grant when you narrowly lost the world title. But what's going on with you now? I believe you're a trainer now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm training. I've got about probably 5 or 6 pros in the gym. I've got a gym in Sheffield, in the Sheffield Town City Centre. The gym's buzzing at the minute. It's not just a professional boxing gym, it's a general public gym. We've got over 100 members in the gym now. The gym's always busy, it's always full. Last night I had one of my pros fight for the international challenge belt, young Lewinessa, who's now unbeaten in 9 fights. He won on points last night, super flyweight international challenge title. He won that last night. So, and then next week we're over in Spain with Sam O'Mason. I've been training Sam for 2.5 years now, who's fighting over in Spain against a good fighter, Lucas Yannick, for the IBF international title. We're over in Spain next week, so the gym's on a big buzz at the minute with our pros and the fighters. So it's good. It's all good at the minute.
So do you believe that the experience you've had as a fighter, and you've pretty much almost got it all, I mean, a questionable decision against Otis Grant, a tough fight against one of the pound-for-pound fighters in Canelo Alvarez, and a great win and one still a fan's favourite against Jamie Moore. Do you believe this is the experience you can pass on to your fighters and make sure they can learn from what you've done in your career?
Yeah, I think, I fought at every level, from British, European, to world levels, I won international titles and everything, and I think, being in the corner and passing on, my knowledge, I can see what my opponent's going through, because I've been in probably every scenario you can think of. I've been hurt in fights and I've come back and won. I've been in fights and my mind's drifted, and I can see that in fighters. I know when things aren't going right or things need changing. When they come back to that corner, I can, advise them and tell them, what they need to do or what they need to change, or carry on doing what they're doing if it's working for them. I think it's a big factor in a trainer and a fighter that the fighter's got confidence in the trainer, knowing that they've been in there, they've seen it and they've done it, and and I know how fighters tick, because I was one of them fighters, and I think it's a massive thing that the fighter knows that the trainer's been there, seen it and done it. So yeah, I think it helps massively.
Also coming up next month, we have Mayweather against McGregor. I mean, whatever people see this as, some people say it's a circus act, some people say it's an event. Some people, the very small minority, believe somehow Conor McGregor's going to be able to get a victory against Floyd Mayweather. What's your opinions on this as an event or a fight? And what's your view on the outcome?
The outcome definitely is a win for Mayweather. How he wins, I'm not sure. Whether McGregor's got something up his sleeve that no one knows about. We've seen some sparring in the past, boxing sparring with Conor McGregor. He's not looked the best. I know Paulie Malignaggi, I was reading and seeing some stuff last week or a couple of weeks ago that Paulie's been doing some sparring, and he praises Conor McGregor, but it is an event. And the event's going to generate millions and millions of pounds or dollars, whatever it is, for Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. But what it is doing, it's got people talking about it. The general public, what don't normally get involved in boxing or aren't normally bothered about boxing, they're talking about this fight. And when boxing's getting talked about, it's always a good thing. One thing my ex-trainer Brendan Ingle used to say to me, there's no such thing as bad publicity. And when boxing's getting talked about by people what don't normally talk about boxing, it's always a good thing. However you dress it up or however you talk about it, if boxing's getting talked about, then it's a good thing. But I can only see one outcome, and that's a win for Mayweather. I know Mayweather hasn't stopped anybody or got rid of anybody for a long time, but could that happen with Conor McGregor? I believe so. Whether it will, I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, I'll be tuning in to watch it.
That's good. That's a good evaluated outcome for the fight as well. But we also got well, I'd say it's pretty sad news. It's a big character to leave the game. Tyson Fury. I mean, former unified world heavyweight champion, undefeated. There was so much more for him to see. I mean, we just saw the greatest win. We were hoping he was going to build on it, due to personal issues and issues into his own matter. That wasn't possible at the time. We was always hoping that he'd come back, but he's recently officially announced his retirement from boxing. Do you believe that this is really the end of Tyson Fury? And if so, what's your thoughts on the retirement?
If it is, I think it's sad. I don't think Tyson Fury's got his dues for doing what he did, going to Germany and beating Klitschko. Yeah, he does have his personal issues and his demons, and you know, you can understand that. You know, it must be hard that he's never been accepted, or he's never got the credit he deserved for going to Germany and beating Klitschko, who's never been beat who hasn't been beat for a long time, who's reigned as heavyweight champion for a long time. You know, whether Tyson is being honest and it is true that he is retiring. I think he's announced it a couple of times before that he's splitting in from boxing, and then he has said he's coming back. So I think time will tell. I think you know, I would like to see Tyson back into the ring. I know it's difficult for him, and he does have his personal, his issues. But I think Tyson's good for the sport. I know he doesn't, you know, probably say the right words, or comes out with some not right stuff. But listen, he did what many people couldn't do, and he deserved a lot more credit than what he got for doing what he did.
Okay, well, thanks for coming to PSC Sports today, Ryan. We'll upload the video shortly in due course, and hopefully we'll speak to you again soon.
No problem. Anytime.